what we are trying to do as an institute is to encourage our members and any other institutions to gauge themselves in a self-assessment on where they stand in as far as their corporate governance practices are. We have therefore coined this Corporate Governance Award, which is a very prestigious award, and we are going into the third one, the first one having been done in the year 2018, and because of COVID, we missed some years, and 2022 we did another one, the second one. This time we are going to the third. Now, it is not just corporate governance presence in an organization that matters. We are also trying to measure the resilience and the sustainability impact of these corporate governance tenets which are being practiced in the various organizations. We have a say which is very important, that good corporate governance build strong institutions, and strong institutions build strong nations. So in the process of building our nation, Uganda, the Institute is making a contribution by building strong institutions. And the strong institutions can only be built if they have strong corporate governance.
This particular award season is celebrating resilience, which we think in itself speaks to the ability of the organizations to be able to pass that statistic from the Uganda Registration Services Bureau in whichever way that you see it. We've had COVID here, we've had digital crime, we have had organizations that have fallen to financial risk and a couple of other things. But also in the end, if you have looked at the finding gap for the Sustainable Development Goals, then you would know that there's still quite a bit of work to do. Therefore, those organizations that have been deliberate about delivering impact within the communities or for the shareholders and the stakeholders who have got a stake in them, definitely deserve some mention. And by and large, this is what this awards is about.
The third Corporate Governance Awards of 2024 are very important. We as the DPF chose to be part of this event because we understand how critical corporate governance is in driving a strategy of an institution. The Corporate Governance Institute of Uganda has given us lots of training at different levels, at board, at senior management level, and we have derived a lot of benefit from our association with the Corporate Governance Institute of Uganda. And therefore I encourage all our stakeholders, especially the financial institutions, to be part of this event because you will not regret and you will benefit from an enhanced corporate governance structure in your respective financial institutions.
There will always be emerging risks. There will always be changes in demands of customers. There will always be, and we've already seen it. The other time when we had COVID, nobody ever expected that it would happen. So it is important that on an ongoing basis, we assess the level of resilience so that we are able to speak to those changes and be able to fill the gaps and ensure that we continue to be resilient. Therefore, in the upcoming awards that the Corporate Governance Association will be doing, we are happy to continue to be assessed, and we look forward to continuing associating with such initiatives. Us at Centenary Bank, we believe it is important to have proper corporate governance, and we believe it has been one of the pillars that has led to the growth of this bank to the level where it is. And therefore, any initiatives that are put across to ensure that everybody recognizes the importance of corporate governance, we always want to be part of. And that's why we've been making sponsorship, and we will continue to do that. When
there is an invitation or a call to participate, to be able to add our voice to that of other evangelists in driving the adoption, in driving the growth of the ecosystem of participants when it comes to anything digital, anything cyber, anything sustainability, and how finally it fits within the theme that we have for these awards of resilience and sustainable impact. Therefore, we are especially enthused by this opportunity to be able to make our contribution We think that even after these awards, we will have the opportunity to continue to engage with other participants in the other awards that are coming, for us to be able to grow not just the value that accrues from being resilient and sustainable, but also the critical mass of those who are talking about this subject with a view to driving adoption of digital practices, with a view to driving adoption of sustainable practices as an integral part of business strategies and operations. At the end, that's really what we think we're here for. And we're glad to have joined forces with a whole host of other like-thinking sponsors of this awards event.
One of the things that has made us resilient is governance. It's you cannot run your company badly without proper governance structures, without proper governance principles, and survive. You will die. So part of why we are part of the governance of the Intergovernmental Council is to help us learn more, better, so we can do things in a much better way, especially building around governance. Because the thing, when you do it well, it acts as a guardrail and it allows us to be sustainable, to be resilient in terms of what we do. So with us, we don't even look at it as a sponsorship, as we see as part and parcel of what we need to do as an entity to continue serving the members, not just for tomorrow, but for the long haul.
We as Grant Thornton take corporate governance as so critical, successful running of organization, to fostering trust of stakeholders, to ensuring organizations do have proper accountability, proper transparency in the way they are run. So it is on that basis, and given that the fact that our business is largely driven by the advisory we give to organizations, it is on that basis that we decided to continue sponsoring this event, and it is our desire to continue sponsoring it for the foreseeable future.
At Postbank, we pride ourselves in corporate governance. We believe that an entity like Postbank, which is a public interest entity, whether public or private entity, corporate governance is very key. I would define corporate governance as the bedrock, as the foundation on which the strategy of the bank runs. Corporate governance basically moves together with the culture of an organization, the way we lead organizations. So knowing and understanding the theme that underpins the third Corporate Governance Awards, recognizing resilience and sustainable impact, we felt that we would be part of this journey with the Institute of Corporate Governance of Uganda. We believe that as an economy, as a nation grows, it is important that we strengthen our corporate governance practices.
Our resilience has been on the consistency of picking the nitty-gritties. So much as we can be sure that we are up to the standard, but we are always striving to be above the standard in whatever we are doing, whether it is the quality of the product, whether it is the amount of what we are producing, whether it is at the cost that we are pricing it, whether how much power are we using or water, all these kind of things. We cannot be 100% satisfied. We want to have checks and balances. We have our internal systems which check what we are doing, the way we are doing it, and the results. But for us to come together and support what the Institute of Corporate Governance is trying to do, it's like an audit. We want to be sure that what we are being perceived to be out there is actually what we are. And then we will go back to the drawing board and see how do we tick the boxes. And once 1, 2, 3 people come together, behave the same way, Uganda and the world will be a better world for us, for all of us to live in and enjoy.
Our history at Uganda Breweries Limited actually mandates that you have to be resilient. We have been in this business for 78 years. We are really committed to sustainability as a business, and we have embedded that in our strategy. We have a program we call the Spirit of Progress Sustainability Action Plan, which has clear metrics and targets, which we report on a monthly basis. I report it quarterly to the board. It is cascaded on a regional basis and global basis, just to show that our commitment to our sustainability agenda is clear. And of course, around the 3 areas: environment, social, and governance. However, we work in a community, and we need the community where we work in to tell us whether what we think we are doing is actually manifesting in the way we are perceived. Because we have a commitment, we have a goal to be best performing and the most trusted and respected consumer products company in Uganda. You cannot score yourself and call yourself those things. Somebody else has to do that to you. So what we are doing is, by even in investing in and sponsoring such programs, is to get the outside in look, which holds us to account on our own metrics. Are they the right ones? Are they delivering the impact that we want? And are they resonating with the community that are coming to assess us? And 2, we can also get their insights. They see other industries. Are there things that are being done better elsewhere? Is there something we have missed? Get that best practice from outside coming in, and they can also find out from us what we are doing that may be best practice that they can transfer out. So we are a member of the community. We want to lift as well as be lifted. And end of the day, it's an extremely important yardstick to know that we are progressing in the direction and in the commitment we have on being a sustainable and resilient business.
I really want to thank the Institute of Corporate Governance, because one would wonder why the Institute of Corporate Governance is really emphasizing sustainability. From us, it really helps us to do a self-check of sorts, to say, look, from your plans, these are your commitments. You want to be net zero from a carbon emissions perspective by 2020. They'll look at all that in their review of our corporate strategies. They'll look at what we are committing in terms of some of these marginalized communities that we have and our product offering. And I am glad that so many entities have partnered with the Institute of Corporate Governance, and indeed we are answering that call of responding to humanity.
I would like to thank special mention to the sponsors of the awards night, without whom we would not have been able to be here. Special mention to Grant Thornton, who are our platinum sponsors, who have been with the Institute of Corporate Governance of Uganda since the inception. They have been very much involved in the formulation of the awards, and all the other sponsors. We are sending out a clarion call. After the awards, we will have a publication which will give a summary of the theme and also the lessons which have been learnt. And we hope that this will be able to encourage very many more companies to take the theme of corporate governance and ESG a lot more seriously, because adopting the doctrines and the fundamentals of corporate governance can only work towards having more sustainable and profitable companies, and as a result, a more prosperous country.